up with you, to get to know you a little bit better. I love sharing, your story with everyone else. We're going to talk a little bit about women's health. It's so important to both of us. But I just want you to kind of share your story with everybody, who you are, what you do, and tell us from your perspective, just what your story is.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Charli. I appreciate the opportunity. No, I'm Suzanne Henson, and by day, or I guess by day and night, I am the Registered Dietitian Nutritionist for University Medical Center for all of their locations. And I'm also faculty in the School of Medicine and for UAB, and then also in the Family Medicine residency program that we operate here at University Medical Center. We're one of the largest family medicine residencies in the country. And I've been with the medical center for close to 7 years now. Okay. And I love what I do. I've been a dietitian for over 22 years, and I'm passionate about health, about helping other people improve their health. And but I found myself on the opposite side of the table, so to speak, about a little over a decade ago. I come from a family where every maternal family member in my family, every female maternal family member, has some heart issue, whether it's difficult to treat high blood pressure, abnormal cholesterol. My own mother has high blood pressure and very high triglycerides that she has to watch. And I followed right in her footsteps. And so right before I turned 40, just through a routine office visit, it was discovered that my blood pressure was sky high. I'm really high, dangerously high. And so I have managed high blood pressure for a little over a decade now. And so I think it's so important that women, particularly women, sometimes tend to care for others, but they don't care for themselves. And my work professionally is as a caregiver. And so sometimes kind of shocking to be on the other side of that equation of being the one who needed to be taken care of and needed to be monitoring my numbers.
Yeah. And, I think probably your job and every day and you're in there with nutrition and diet and you're focused on that for everyone else. Maybe even take some of that home with you and you're applying that to your everyday and you feel really healthy, but then okay, there's this problem that happens, there's high blood pressure. What's causing it? Did you have I personally did that, I had high blood pressure and that was, okay, well, something needs to change. Is it my stress? Is it my diet? What can I do to get this lowered? For you, is that the one thing that kind of started you focusing on your health a little more?
It was. For me, I cook dinner for myself every night. I do all the things that I tell other people to do. I do that. Now, I do enjoy going out for, over the top dinner sometimes, but it's not something I do every day. But for me, it was like, wait, what's happened? I take care of other people. And then I started to look at what was going on in my life a little over, right at a decade ago, I should say, and to take a look at the stress that I had in my work and what needed to change for me to get this number back where it needed to be, to get this blood pressure back where it needed to be. Certainly medication was necessary, and I accepted that. I wasn't like, I'm not going to take medication. I was like, no, I probably need to, because it was really high. And then I did make changes in my work to try to reduce the stress in my day-to-day professional life, and to begin kind of putting the pieces together to where 39, 40 is way too young to be dealing with extremely high blood pressure that needed 2 medications at the time. I'm down now because I have made changes in my life and physical changes as well. Somehow at age 50, I've lost about 20 pounds or so. And so it's taken away the need for one medication and reduced the second one that I have been on, cut it in half. And I think also focusing on stress levels and trying to manage those has helped me get to a point where my blood pressure looks great and the medications are down.
Yeah. And, I think we focus on ourselves and, all the things that we can do is a good start, right? Of taking care of ourselves, going to the doctor, knowing our numbers. I know we talked about that, like giving ourselves a bench line or baseline, right? To, okay, how am I doing? And therefore, you can make adjustments on what you need to do, talk to your doctor, and find out what you need to do next. But what about, in that moment where you're like, I was doing all the things. I was, eating right, occasional exercise, and you feel like, okay, well, but there's still a problem. There's something because it's, your genetics or, whatever that for me, it was a birth defect I didn't know about, but there are a lot of everybody's different and have different things. But how did you feel in that moment where you're just like, okay, how is this happening? Because I'm doing all the things right. How did you manage that?
Well, and I even had coworkers and friends who were like, wait, I mean, you do manage. I mean, you do the things that you're supposed to do. I do eat like I'm supposed to. I may not hit the gym, but I don't take an elevator. I take the stairs at work or wherever I am. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this is happening to me. And I remember my doctor at the time, she was doing an EKG and she said, it looks like, just looking at the EKG, it looks like you're having a heart attack. I can tell you're not, but that's what this printout shows. And she had her partner, fellow physician, come in and take a look at it. And she said, it really looks like you're having a heart attack. And so I had to do, sent off for the stress test. Even prior to this, in my early 30s, I was sent for an echocardiogram. And so something had been building for some time. And so right around 39, right before I turned 40 was when it all just kind of came together. And it was like, okay, we have an issue. And so, yeah, it was, and I understand how when patients say to me, but I'm doing all the right things, how did this happen? And for me, it's genetics. I couldn't out eat or outwalk my genetics. And so I just had to accept that. And then again, begin addressing, what do I need to do in addition to taking medication? What do I need to do to put myself in a place where I'm not at risk because of what I'm dealing with?
Yeah, I think there's just a little bit of stress just managing what we're supposed to do. That there's some maybe unseen stress of just looking at, okay, I'm trying to do everything right as a mom, as a worker bee, as a, all who I have to care for, all these different things that put stress on us that maybe don't feel like they're really stressful, right? That they're just normal everyday things that we don't realize makes our heart rate go up or, our blood pressure go up. I found it really funny that when I was about to go on stage or, I'm even just having a conversation with somebody, that my heart rate would go up or blood pressure go up. I don't know which one it was, but I could feel it happening. And that's not something that, you need maybe a blood pressure pill for all the time, because it doesn't happen all the time. It's only in these situational environments or these stressful, what I see or what I feel is a stressful environment. Your body reacts to different things at different times. So, I mean, for me, having to eat the exact right things and cook the best meal for myself on a regular basis, that stresses me out because I'm not a very good cook. And so, I just try to think through all of the different things that may cause women stress and they don't realize it. And that's why we need those regular checkups to just keep tabs on, are we in a healthy zone?
Right. And I think too, I mean, and not even between those checkups. I mean, knowing if you know that you have an issue, like I know that because I do have managed this for over a decade. And as I said, recently have been able to come off at least one medication, have another cut in half. I still need to monitor it. I had actually been in a situation where, as I mentioned, somehow at age 50, I had lost weight, which is usually not what happens, but I wasn't keeping a tab on the fact that those medications were really designed for somebody 20 pounds heavier, the dosage I was on. And so I ran into a situation of low blood pressure, which I hadn't even thought could happen.
And
So
that will cause you to not want to get out of bed, y'all. That you
yeah,
just, it just wipes you out.
it
And
does.
yeah.
Yeah, it is just pure fatigue. You feel awful. But fortunately, I do work in a medical environment. And so I've had the nurses check my blood pressure regularly. I have a home monitor now because this did happen where it fell low, and so that I can keep an eye on it, and I send my doctor those numbers.
Yeah. And I think that's something that we all can do. Look for ways, whether, it's a Fitbit or Apple Watch or whatever, to kind of keep tabs on your heart rate for one, and kind of watch your activity. I think it's really important. It makes you understand what activity does to your body.
Mhm.
But then making time for yourself, making the appointments on your calendar for you to get checked out, just a baseline checkup. Okay, where do I stand as far as my health? And then, you don't have to wait a whole year to do it again, but just take time for yourself to figure out what your body needs. We talked about, nutrition on your side, and kind of living and breathing that. It's so important, especially for women. We have our menstrual cycle that happens, and, there's some nutrients that go away every
Mhm.
month that we need to replenish and understand. And I found that, sometimes your body doesn't absorb the nutrients that you need. And even though you're taking care of yourself like we think that we should, you're not getting it throughout your body. So there's ways that we can help. I don't know. Do you want to talk to that at all on the nutrition side?
Yeah, and I think too, I think it's important to realize, and I tell patients this, you don't have to be perfect in terms of your nutrition, okay? And I think people want to, when they want to make lifestyle changes in terms of what they eat, how much they move, they want to do it perfectly or not do it at all. And so I want to stress that you don't have to do it perfectly. I tell patients, think about, are you always the perfect spouse? Are you always the perfect partner, daughter, whatever? There's no area of your life in which you will be perfect day in, day out, and you accept that. Somehow, when it comes to making changes in food habits and how much you move, people want to be perfect, and that's not necessary. You're just going for consistency, and it's what you do most consistently in terms of those food habits, how much you move, that matters. And so, I'm always honest with my patients. I said, yes, I usually cook dinner most every night. I mean, my dinner for tonight is marinating in my refrigerator right now. Okay. But if you offered, if a friend said, hey, let's go grab chips and queso, I'm there. Okay. I am.
Me too, by
And
the way, if y'all want to invite me.
yes, I'm there. Life is short, eat the good food. But it's what you do most consistently that matters. And again, I think for women particularly, focusing on taking care of yourself when, we are typically the individuals who care for everybody else.
And you have to have the energy to do that. I mean, when you're not drinking water and you're not eating right, and your body has an issue, regardless if you know what it is, this causes you not to show up like you want to. And then that's frustrating, which adds stress. And so there's so much that we as women take on, and we try to do it empty. And so we just want to encourage you to take that time to, make a plan for yourself. 10 minutes. If you're sitting at a desk and you're, listening to this on your computer, and you start to feel, your right shoulder, I've been sitting here way too long, just stop, get up out of that chair, walk around, give yourself 5-10 minutes. Don't try to work through it. I'll just, I'll keep going until, get this done, and then I'll take a break. Just go ahead and take that break then. And that's one of the things I learned during the COVID season, is if I would just take 10 minutes and walk outside, and not everybody can walk outside or do that, but even shifting your mindset or taking a phone call with a friend can give you that change of scenery and reduce stress. And I think those things are really important. I also think when you go through this season of trying to figure out how to take care of yourself. Like both of us, I had open heart surgery in July, and they repaired a valve. So I don't have medicine really as a baby aspirin that I have to take on a monthly or a daily basis. But it's also part of a routine that okay, you got to take my baby aspirin. I'm going to eat my breakfast, getting into that routine and process is important. But going through the pre-work of that, of figuring out, okay, why is my body acting like that? It takes being an advocate at your doctor's office and saying, okay, I still don't feel right. This is what is really happening to me. And some of these conversations, from your tummy being upset or whatever, are hard to bring to the table and say, but it's important to do so. And yeah, that's what I really want to get across to people.
Yeah, no, and I think, and I will say, as somebody who works in healthcare, it can be hard to say to my own doctor, this isn't right. Or I don't feel well. Like, I don't want to be a healthcare provider who isn't healthy. And so it can be almost,
shameful. There's a little bit of shame, right?
Yeah, a little bit of shame. Yeah, a little bit of shame. And, or to say, or like even to like when my schedule gets off, or like, for example, when I'm on vacation, which I will stress this, from 30 to 35, when I left the position I was working in from age 30 to 35, I cashed out 40 days of vacation. Wow. And lost 2 days. I will never make that mistake again. Okay. Mm-hmm. So now I do take vacations, and I use that time, and it's there for a reason. It is for you to regroup and reset, get your mindset back where it needs to be, and also give your body a break. But I will say, when my schedule gets off, like maybe when I am on vacation, I may not eat consistently like I do when I'm at work. And so I really have to watch that, because then, if you don't fuel your body and don't hydrate, then you can get into some pretty scary situations too. So it's kind of being mindful of what you're doing when you're at work or when you're at play, and just kind of, keeping a check on your own body.
Yeah, you have to listen to your body. I love even just thinking that, saying that, thinking that, because it's true. I mean, there's no telling what they would have diagnosed me with if I hadn't been listing off and saying, okay, this is the symptom, this is what changed, and because it was an unknown, and it took years to really figure out that this was causing some of it, or you're just living it and it's getting worse. So I think part of it is, things come up when they're supposed to, but we have to pay attention to it and go through that process to get you to the health care provider that you need. But be an advocate for your own. I know plenty of times people are like, okay, Charli, that sounds kind of out there. Are you really that tired? And I mean, my oxygen wasn't going through my body the way that it should be. And so, yes, that's going to make you tired, but there was no report, and the blood work all looked good. So I was like completely healthy other than this birth defect. So what do you do with that other than say, but something's not right? Keep looking because I do not feel like myself. And you're the only person that can tell your doctor that.
No, I think that's knowing yourself and realizing that, regardless of your age, you do need checkups. You do need somebody else monitoring kind of where you are. And yes, even if the lab work looks fine, if you don't feel right, be, as you said, your own advocate, and keep going back to that physician or your healthcare provider and saying something's still not right. And fortunately, I have a great group of friends who, when I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, they monitored me. They would text me and say, what do your numbers look like today? And now, as I'm on the other side of it and having having had low blood pressure recently, they're back again saying, okay, text us your numbers. And so I'm very fortunate to have a great circle of female friends who will watch out for me.
Yeah, and it's ongoing. I mean, our life and our body, it changes and it's adapting to our environment on the regular. And so it's something that we have to keep as top priority is taking care of ourselves. And I hope that we will get there. I mean, heart disease is the number one killer for women. And I think a lot of it has to do with us just not stopping and paying attention to our body, and having the resources and the community to support us. But they're out there. We're out there. And so I wanted to bring Suzanne on here because she's doing some amazing things for women. I see your comments on social too, how you interact with people, which I love. But the American Heart Association reached out to me after I went through the heart surgery and asked me to share my story, which was really quite an experience. It's one of my favorite things I've ever, most relaxed I've ever been on a stage, which was wonderful. But Heidi over there invited me to be part of the Work South, not Work South. That's where I'm going to start my new office. But the work site wellness program that they offer with all of these different resources out there that we can be involved with. And I know you've been involved with the association before. Have you ever done the Heart Walk before? I'm a newbie to this.
Oh, yes. Well, actually, the college I work for, the College of Community Health Sciences, has been a sponsor in the past. And so I've been out there those Saturday mornings in March and down at the amphitheater. And it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. And just all you have to do is put one foot in front of the other. That's all you have to do. But it's a great community event. And I think it really, again, I don't know that people realize that heart disease is the leading killer of women. I think they think it's other conditions, but it's, heart issues are oftentimes the silent killer because you don't see the outward effects. Yes, you may be tired if you're not, if that heart's not pumping correctly, but you just think, oh, I'm just tired or I'm getting older or what have you.
Oh, I think we checked everything that there was before the heart. Like we thought it was all kinds of other things because they give symptoms. Your body is, other parts of your body is trying to say, okay, I'm not getting what I need from the heart. And so, yeah, you're right. It's a journey.
Yeah, it is. And I think sometimes it's easy to say, like, I can look at the calendar behind me and say, oh, well, I'm busy. That's why I don't feel great or whatever. But no, there could be something going on that really needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And that was the case for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm thankful that I have you and that you're in this area that we can lean on you, right? The medical center for everyone. I have appointments there myself, but also just the community around women's health, I think is important. I think, having the Heart Walk and something to look forward to in March helps you stay on path too. I know when I was going through my recovery, July to October, I had the Empowering Women's Conference in Chicago that I wanted to, be back and well. And so I would put in my routine workouts to kind of get me to my goal. And so similar to that, raising money for, or fundraising for this Heart Walk, it also kind of puts me back in the mindset of, okay, am I doing the things I want to do to be healthy enough to do this walk? And also reflecting back on, to get better, coming out of surgery, it was take a deep breath. You're right. And we're going to get you out of the bed to the chair down the hallway. And it just was really focused on one more step. And I think that's what that Heart Walk represents to me.
Mm-hmm. No, I would say it definitely does. It's a step. And then I think it's important to show how much that it matters. I think it's amazing when you're at the Heart Walk to see individuals who have either designated themselves as a survivor of some cardiovascular issue, or they're remembering someone who was lost to a cardiovascular issue. And so I think it's when you see just the numbers of people that are impacted either personally or through a loved one by heart disease, it's pretty overwhelming to take a look around and go, this touches a lot of people. And so I think it's important from that perspective as well, is just to showcase how many people this impacts.
Right. The community is so large, and just making sure that we continue to be there for each other. I'm such a fan of yours. I love the work that you're doing, and thank you for supporting this campaign this year as well. I want to see us continue this conversation on women's health, and it's men and women who struggle with it, with heart health. But for me, being a woman and seeing kind of some of these weird signs that you may not think of as being heart related, hypertension being the first thing that was brought to my attention,
Right.
that, it's not a heart attack. It's a lifestyle change. And some of the times that if we can just adjust our lifestyle, we can adjust our blood pressure. And I think that that's really important to know, so that we do these things to reduce the things that are making us so stressed out, and figure out how to take care of ourselves better. Because sometimes it's as easy as a mindset change on what's stressing you out. For me, going up on the stage and, just tell them what they need to hear versus, okay, am I going to perform greatly? Or, am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to mess up? And just changing that mindset can lower your stress and the way your body, doesn't go into fight or flight is what I'm trying to say. So there's plenty of things out there, plenty of stories I've heard, that just stress us out, that really, if we take some time for ourselves, may not be so stressful.
Right. Right. And I think it's important to say, I mean, I enjoy being busy. I enjoy what I do. Yeah. What I do professionally. I think I've just learned to manage it differently. And knowing that, I mean, even that preparing that meal every night for dinner, which I said I do most every night of the week, that is something I enjoy. And that's something that's a stress reduction, is putting together a meal for myself. And so, just small things that you can do. I think you just need to look for those, because, that calendar will most likely always be pretty full. And I like we've got a clean slate right now, at least.
Yes, we get a little bit of break.
Yeah, just a little bit as 2022 gets started. But I think I've just learned to manage things differently, and then catch myself when I get into that fight or flight mode, and just say, okay, wait, stop.
Yes.
You're only 50 years old. You want a lot more years on this planet. And so you need to manage how you respond to things, because the medication can only do so much. And so learning to manage stress is critical.
Yeah. And I think that you gave them such a great advice there. Look for that joy. What is something that's going to bring you happiness and joy? And then the other side is keep a pulse on,
right.
tabs on your pulse.
Truly.
If you're getting upset, take a moment, give yourself that. I mean, we deserve that moment to calm down. And so we don't just stay in that elevated state of crises. But, I want to thank you for your time, for your advocacy in this. And I look forward to seeing what you do next. You're definitely making an impact in our community. And that's really important to me to share. So I look forward to sharing your story, and hopefully this will help women, for one thing, take a break and give yourself 10 minutes today.
Right. Right. And I think I just want to stress that, it can happen to anybody. So even someone whose occupation is to take care of other people. And I do, as I said earlier, do try to practice what I preach, with the occasional chips and queso. But if it can happen, if heart issues can happen to someone who is responsible for taking care of others, then it can happen to anybody. Yeah. And I think that's just important to keep in mind, is that no woman is, or man is immune to potential cardiac issues.
Yeah, that's so true. And, you don't know if you don't know. So go and get checked out and see where you are. and then you can take care of yourself, right? You can, maybe it says you're flying high and that's awesome. And then you'll have that too, right? You'll have that peace of mind and joy. And, you say, okay, what am I doing right? Maybe share those tips with other people. So there's a lot of different ways that you can, give back as that servant leader as well. But most importantly, this touches so many people, and we just need to be informed and educated. And this is our little part today to help you know that there are some resources out there, and definitely people like Suzanne out there that can help you get in touch with the right people too. If people want to talk with you, Suzanne, afterwards, what is your preferred method?
Just feel free to send me an email or call my office. My direct line is 205-348-1255. And email is shenson@ua.edu. And I treat not just patients here at University Medical Center. I have patients from the community as well.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much again. It's a joy to get to talk with you and just spend time with you today.
Okay, thank you so much, Charli. I appreciate it.